We are here now with Indianapolis Colts wide receiver Michael Pittman. Michael, sincerely appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you.
We'll get to the football questions here in a second. I wanted to ask you first about your farm situation.
Yeah.
You own a farm in Indiana.
Yeah.
What prompted this? Like, why did you decide that you wanted to go down this road? Literally, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been interested in land and agriculture, and then my wife has always had horses her entire life. So a opportunity arose where we could buy 40 plus acres, and we just jumped on it, right? And we've been developing it ever since. And it used to be a bean field. So we took out the beans, we planted hay, so now we grow hay. We have about 50-something chickens. We have 4 goats, 4 dogs, 4 cows, 2 horses. And I just actually ordered a bunch of ducks. So we're gonna have ducks now, and then we have turkeys, and we have 1 peacock named Penny. We got Penny the peacock.
What sort of research goes into this? Like, how do you learn how to grow hay?
Yeah, so
You're not from the Midwest.
No.
People should know this. You're from Southern California.
I would say it's a combination of YouTube and people with more experience than me. I mean, my neighbors are always willing to help me out and really just like leaning on them, because my next door neighbor is like a 3-generation cattle farmer. So they kind of just give me like pointers about like calving season. Like we had our first calf last year, and she'd come over and she'd help me out and make sure the calf was doing well. So we just rely on our neighbors and YouTube.
Which animals are like the hardest to take care of? Which are the biggest chore at this stage for you?
The horses for sure, because they just need a lot more. Because our horses, we feed them a special type of grain. They have supplements, right? Like I didn't even know horses need like certain types of like supplements. So
You're talking to the wrong guy, not an equine master over here.
Yeah, so we have a horse subscription for supplements. Right? Like, which is insane. So we do that, and then just everything that comes with it. Like it's just, I didn't see it coming. My wife played me, and now we have 2 horses.
Do you have regrets? Like, how are you feeling about it at this point?
Oh,
because the ducks feels like that's another step to this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd save a lot more money if I didn't have the horses. That's for sure.
All right, let's get to the football stuff. And this question is going to seem meaner than it is. I just want to lay it out that way first.
Go ahead.
So coming into the season, I was really excited about what you guys could be on offense.
Yeah.
I thought the flashes in 23 were really intriguing, and I actually thought Anthony played pretty well in that 4-game stretch that we saw, and Shane has done such a great job in his career. And it probably didn't go the way that you guys wanted it to go last season. At what point, because I'm sure you have a similar level of excitement, you're watching people in camp, you guys have a lot of talent. At what point, whether it's during training camp or into the season, do you guys realize this is maybe going to be more of a process than we hoped it was going to be?
Yeah, I mean, you have to expect that development doesn't happen overnight, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to compete, right? So, like, we're going to go out there and compete whether we think we have a chance or not, right? And like, that's not me saying that I didn't think we have a chance, but like, that's just how, I feel like any type of competition, like, you go out there because you never know what happens. Like, the best team doesn't always win, like in football, right? And like, you've seen teams that you didn't expect to do certain things go on and achieve things that nobody had like planned for them, right? So, I mean, so I guess just the short answer is you have to, like, you can't expect like overnight success as much as it seems like that, like with some guys. It's like it's just not that common, and football is a development like for everybody, right? Like whether you're year 1 or you're year 15, like everybody is continuing to develop in every stage of their career.
At what point do you think you realize like this is going to be more of a process than we might have hoped? Was it during camp? Was it into the season? Like, what was that moment where like, you know what, we're gonna have to work through some stuff here?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, just like you get a feel for it, but like it's a team sport, right? So like, even though we expected the development like from the jump, right? Like, just because like we're all professionals and we're all there and we're all working, so like we see everything. So like you expect development and you expect continued development, and like that's really it.
Everything that happened with Anthony last year and just the timeline of it, how did you guys react in the locker room? Just like with the way that they handled it, and not only the way they handled it, but the way that it was communicated to you.
Yeah, well, in like there's discrepancies between what really happens and what gets like reported, and like there was a time period where he was kind of getting slammed from every single angle, and the way that he handled that, I mean, I thought he handled it the right way. Like, he didn't sulk, and he actually worked harder. He started showing up earlier, he started doing more, and like showing us that he's committed and willing to do what it takes. So I feel like he responded the right way to that, and that's kind of what you want to see. Like, you want to see a guy who can handle that type of adversity, because being a NFL quarterback is probably the hardest job, like, in all of sports, right? Like, there's not a position that is as important as a quarterback.
In terms of like how accountability works in an NFL building, I'm sure there's a push and a pull, because you want coaches that you feel like care about you, and you want a good relationship with those people. But because it is such a demanding job, that consistent accountability has to be part of the equation. So when you've been around coaches that you think do that well, what does that balance feel like, where you feel like you're getting pushed, but at the same time there's a level of care about the roster?
Yeah. I always appreciate brutal honesty, but there's a difference between honesty and being disrespected. And the coaches who can be brutally honest with you, like, I feel like Reggie Wayne is the best at this, right? Because he is brutally honest, but he's not trying to disrespect you, and he really wants you to be the best player that you can be, and players can see that. So, like, just like when you have a guy like that, just like that helps you set that standard, and he doesn't really let you get slacked on the things you got to do, because he'll straight up tell you, it's just like, he'll be like, yeah, that sucked, and he will tell you in front of everybody. He doesn't care, which I think is great.
Give me an example. Like, what's something where he really got on you for something this year? You're like, all right, I probably needed to hear that.
Yeah, so I ran a slant route, and I caught it, right? And I got the first down, but he kept on playing it. And, like, he, like, just looks at me. He's like, that route stinks. And, like, I'm like, what? Like, just like, I got a first down. And, like, just like, and then, like, just like, then, like, Reggie's like, yeah, but you really could have maybe got 30 yards here, like, if you would have straightened him up, gave him a step, and then ran in. So, like, just like little things like that, like, even like when you're not expecting it, he's always trying to get you to reach that highest level.
I want to ask you about players in the league, and specifically guys you go against. Is there somebody over the last few years that you've either gone against once, a couple times, that you just really don't like playing against for one reason or another? Not even personality-wise, but like play style.
Yeah, so I don't like playing against Myles Garrett. I certainly didn't like playing against Aaron Donald, because TJ Watt too, because those are the guys that can change the way that you game plan. And when those guys are in, offenses have a tendency to like not do certain things. Like, I don't want to give up like our schemes, but
just how long you can hang on to the ball for the most part.
Well, it equals less passes.
Sure.
Like, just like in a game, and with less passes, then obviously we don't get as much opportunity to do our job.
The complexion of the offense, period, this year was so different than it's been in years past. Like, the last couple of years, you're averaging like 7-8 yards, air yards per target. This year was like 12 yards. And there were games where you threw the ball 20 times. As a receiver, like, how do you deal with the shifting dynamics when the offense changes from year to year like that?
Yeah, so we just came together and we just said, hey, guys, we have to be unselfish, right? Whatever's going to win us games. And sometimes – like, we're going to throw the ball under 20 times, and sometimes we might get to throw the ball 35 times, right? And we just have to be okay with that, and we can't let frustration show. I mean, obviously, like, we want to throw the ball more because we want to do our job and feel like we are contributing. But at the same time, like, if we win, then it was the right choice. So
the last thing I'll ask you, if you could steal one single trait from another receiver in the league, what do you think that would be?
Tyreek Hill's speed. 100%.
It's always the thing you don't have as much as you want, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, can you imagine being 6'4" and strong and being the fastest player like in the NFL? I mean, that's like Calvin Johnson, right? so yeah.
You're here with Toyota, who's the official automotive partner of the NFL, who I hear some pretty cool things in store for fans at the Super Bowl experience here in New Orleans. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I've actually been working with Toyota for a whole year now. I actually drive a Sequoia myself. And everything that Toyota has done this year has been in support of the next generation of athletes. And for fans here at the Super Bowl experience, they have this thing set up where they can hop in cars with players from Team Toyota through AR, and you can interact with them and do certain things, like, which is pretty cool. And,
nice.
And like, it's kind of funny to watch. So.
That's awesome. We're coming to you guys from the Toyota studio, and we will be here all week. Sincerely appreciate the time, Michael. Really good to meet you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.